What does it say that this conference about the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act started off with a discussion about marriage equality, which obviously a decade ago this wouldn't have happened?
Right. I think it demonstrates that this is the defining civil rights issue of our present time. This is an issue that is important not only to gay and lesbian citizens, but it is important to every American who cares about equality. And I think that the history of this country has been a history of the constant expansion of the people who are benefiting from the promises of our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. 1964 extended that, worked to extend that to people of different races. And I think people broadly now recognize that that civil rights movement has got to extend to everyone. It's got to be based, you can't have discrimination based on race, you can't have it based on gender, you can't have it based on religion, you can't have it based on sexual orientation. And so I think that this is a critical component of any celebration of civil rights.
So in states like Texas, where you still have laws on the books that oppose gay marriage, how do you get the legislative branches to come around on this? Is this just a matter of the courts to just say this is where the line is? Or is there another path here that could be taken to advance those rights before that happens?
A federal district judge has held those laws unconstitutional. That's on appeal now. And the same is true in Ohio, Utah, Oklahoma, Virginia, Michigan, and maybe one or two other states. So there's changes taking place at the judicial level. Those cases, one or more of them, will go to the Supreme Court. But at the same time, there are changes taking place in the legislature. New York changed its laws. Maryland changed its laws. Minnesota changed its laws in the legislature. We feel that the more people listen to the issues and talk about the issues, even in the legislatures, even in the most conservative states, there will be change. It will take place in the courts or it will take place in the legislature. And we're hoping that we can be a part of that. But it is, and one of the things that I've been saying is that marriage between two people who love one another, who want to be a part of the community, who want to raise their children, to be a part of the educational system, to participate in democracy, that is a conservative value. So if you are a conservative living in a conservative state, in a conservative legislature, you ought to think really carefully. David said this eloquently just a few minutes ago. You ought to think really carefully about what your values really are. These are conservative values.
For some people who may still oppose same-sex marriage, how can you explain to them the reason why the Constitution and the law says that it has to be legal?
I think the easiest way to explain it is what the Constitution says is that a state must give equal protection of the laws to every citizen and cannot take any rights away without due process of law. And the courts have held, not just in this case, but for over 100 years, that marriage is the most fundamental right and relationship that people have. And in 1967, the United States Supreme Court held in a case, Loving against Virginia, that Virginia's ban on interracial marriage was unconstitutional because you could not deprive someone of marrying the person they loved based on race or any other kind of circumstance like that. And this is exactly that kind of situation in which people may, as a matter of personal belief, as a matter of religious faith, they may believe that marriage should be between just a man and a woman, just as there were many people in 1967 that believed that people should only marry somebody of their own race. They are entitled to those beliefs, but they are not entitled to impose those beliefs on other people. And so when the state decides who gets married, the state cannot say, we're only going to allow people to marry people of the same religion, or marry people of the same race, or marry somebody of the opposite sex.